Now there's other manifestations of God. For instance, I'd like to talk about history. Albert Einstein. Albert Einstein was probably one of the smartest guys that the world ever knew. And the question is that they asked him, Albert, they said, Al, if you could meet anyone in the world, who would you meet and what would you say to them? Who do you think he said, Albert Einstein? Who? God, okay. And in terms of a person maybe, would anyone have a thought on that one? No? Okay, well, Jake Butters. Say again now? Oh, this is cool. It's fine. You know what he said? I would meet Moses. Moses, what do you want from him? I would say to him, do you know your people are still around after all these years? See, that was a miracle to the smartest man in the world. He understood, hey, this is crazy. Just think about it for a minute. You got your story of Haman. You know what he wanted to do to us. You don't have to go so far back to Haman. You got Adolf, Yamach Shavo. You got what they did to us in 67, the 6-Day War, the 73 Yom Kippur War. Here's a funny story. Everyone knows about the 67 war that we wiped out the whole army in 6 days, and they can argue that the Israeli army did it and they were very clever. We're not going to get into that. It was clearly the hand of God using them, but let's talk about the 73 war. This actually happened. In 1973, when they had the Yom Kippur War, they went in and they surprise attacked us. And for all of you who don't know, a lot of Jews died that day. That was a horrible war, more than any of the other wars that they ever had, because of course they brought us on attack. Now here's what happened. When they went in to attack us, one of the generals from the other side, the enemy, they had asked them, what happened? It was a surprise attack. Why did you stop 2 hours? He goes, what happened was we lined up at the formation, we went to attack them, and we didn't see anyone. And we got scared. And a call came in that said, don't proceed, don't proceed. And during that 2-hour period, the Jews in Israel found out what was going on, and what did they do? They started to prepare. They got out of the shuls, they got their guns, they started to fight. The question they asked them is, yo, moron, where did you think they were? You were surprise attacking them. Where did they come up with this crazy idea? Could you imagine, like, I'm standing there about to kill him, like, wait a minute, he's not doing anything. This must be a setup. What are you? No, because God or something went into his brain that reasoned in such a faulty way that basically saved God knows how many, probably the entire country. But we don't think about it, so we just assume, oh, it was just a good war. Things just happened to have worked out, for the best. Thank God that Nixon gave us all those missiles and airplanes, which he did. And there's no question that was also a manifestation of God. But I want to talk to you guys about nature. The manifestation of God through nature. We look at things every day. I never even thought about it. You guys see spider webs, especially lately in Florida. Everywhere you go, oh my God, what's happening here? It's insane. It's the funniest thing with the spider webs, by the way. You can be with the toughest guys, like, yeah, I broke his fin. Oh, they freak out as soon as they see a spider web. It is the funniest thing. Check it out the next time you go. So anyway, I'm looking at a spider web, and I thought, Rabbi, this is true. You ever notice that a spider spins his web? Everyone gets caught in his web, the little insects get in it and he eats and everything. Did you ever wonder how the spider gets across the web? How does the spider not get caught in his own web? Because, it just so happens this oil is secreted into his feet when he walks. Where does that oil come from? How did that happen? If you want to see God, you'll see God. If you think he has oily legs, oily legs. An apple. Rabbi Victor Miller Zatzal, a giant. He taught so many people about HaKadosh Baruch Hu through the simplest of things, an apple. Let's talk about an apple. You got an apple or an orange? They come in many colors. Why? Because God's nice. And some people prefer a red one than a green one. Some people like the yellow ones. I don't know about those people. I'm not particularly friendly with them. But the fact of the matter is that everyone has their own preference, and that's their problem. But you know what God does? He says, it's not enough I'm going to give you an apple. I'm going to put on a tree with a lot of other apples. And then inside each apple, I'm going to put these little seeds in them. And then when they fall on the ground, if no one gets it, it's going to plant another 1,000 trees. Why? Because I'm kind. I'm nice. I'm God. That's what I do. I create and I give. But if you don't think about God, then you're like, yeah, no, it's like the apple. We're flying an airplane. I don't know how we got up here, but it's an airplane. No one knows why. Because clearly there's something happening that's beyond what we can understand. Let's talk about human life as a manifestation of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. How could we not imagine for a moment? Forget creation, we came from this, we became that. Did it ever occur to anyone that a child is submerged in liquid, right? Inside the embryo, liquid. And then suddenly that very child, when it's born, the lung changes, the liquid gets expunged, and suddenly the very liquid that was keeping the child alive could very well choke and kill the child. That's why that few seconds when the kid comes out, they're always cleaning it and hitting it to get things going, that it should cry, that it starts breathing, that everything starts working, normalizing, and transforming. We are seeing a miracle when the child is born, but no one thinks about it. You don't think about it when the parents have their kid. Then they come out dazed and confused. What happened there? Because they saw it, they realized this is something crazy. Another thing about human life I'd like to discuss as a miracle, something my father always taught me. He always said, how could you not see? We're not plugged in. We're not connected to anything. The mere body is a manifestation of a Kadosh Baruch Hu. But I thought about it for a minute. Liquids. Liquids inside our bodies. Think about this. Inside our body right now, we have blood, we have saliva, phlegm, several different types of secretions, natural antibiotics in our bodies that actually clean and attack something. Here's something I found out. If a guy has a heart attack, do you ever wonder why they can't just take an artificial heart and leave it outside of someone? Essentially, when someone's heart doesn't work, that's the leading cause of death in people. Why can't they just have a machine that pumps? It's a logical question. I actually asked a heart surgeon this. And they do have that machine. And you know why the people die? Because the connection inside the body always eventually gets attacked by the antibodies inside the body. So essentially, the body sees a foreign object and it doesn't know what to do, so it attacks it and it causes an infection, and that's how people eventually die. But the very fact is that very antibody that's attacking that one thing saves us on a daily basis. We just don't see it, so we assume, well, it's normal, it's nature. I think that we have to realize that God is in control of that. Lastly, I want to talk about illness very quickly and tell you just a couple of personal things that happened to me. I have a son, he's a wonderful fella. Thank God he's doing all right now. He wasn't feeling well, he had a very bad seizure. It turned out he had a brain tumor, but they removed it, Baruch Hashem, the Leonard, he's fine. The fact is that when that thing happened, everyone's like, oh my God, this is horrible, da 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 da. But in retrospect, right, it indicated to me something was wrong with me. A friend of mine fell in the gym, so upset, how did this happen, blah, blah, blah. 3 months later, 3 weeks later, he's walking with a Band-Aid on his head. And his friend sees him, he's like, I'm your doctor, I didn't know you could bank here. He's like, no, this is nothing, I just tripped somewhere on the... He's like, I see that it's okay now, but did you ever x-ray your head? He's like, why would I x-ray my head? I'm fine. He's like, you should just x-ray come to my office. X-rayed his head, they found he had a brain tumor. This happened to my friend, he's fine, thank God. Again, at the time, why am I banging my head in the gym? I didn't do anything, I tripped out of nowhere. Yeah, it saved your life. So you see, again, you have an incident that happens to you, you don't understand where it's coming from. The fact of the matter is that we can see God in everything and everywhere. And I hope, my goal tonight was just to give you some thoughts about the different manifestations of God. Does anyone have any questions they'd like to ask me?
That was solid. That's good.
Okay, I'm glad you liked it. Any questions? All right, good. I did my work. God bless you guys. Thank you.